Hey guys, Matt here from Brewery. Happy Homebrew Wednesday. I thought we'd do something a little different today, so I don't have anything new to show you. This is something that a friend of mine introduced me to years ago, and I have one of these every once in a while. This is actually his bottle, so he doesn't mind, hopefully, that I'm borrowing it. Yukon Jack. It's a Canadian whiskey. It's a little bit sweeter than most of your standard whiskeys. It's also a little bit stronger than some of them. This is 100 proof. And one thing we've always liked to do is we mix it with some Mountain Dew. And I actually don't have any regular Mountain Dew, but the blue stuff works just as well. It's not the voltage. It's called Frostbite, but it's pretty similar. So anyway, the way you do it, you just, I don't know, you put maybe a shot or so in there, whatever. And just mix it with some Mountain Dew. And what's cool about it, I think anyway, is I love Mountain Dew. And the fact that that's a sweeter whiskey, it brings out that sweetness that's out of the Mountain Dew even further. So it blends really well. Cheers. Very nice. All right, so this week, what do we have for you guys? So before I forget, the first thing I want to talk about is the Big Brew Day. So May 2nd, it's going to be this Saturday coming up. It is sponsored by the American Homebrewers Association, and the BrewTubers are going to be hopping in on that as well. So Gary set up the Zoom meeting already. It's out on the BrewTubers website. At the top, if you click on virtual meetings, you'll see it there. Come and join us. There's going to be a bunch of other BrewTubers that are going to be doing a live feed as well on YouTube and some other mediums. So absolutely, even if you're not brewing, certainly jump in, say hi, and hang out with us. I'll be there. I'll be brewing as well. I'll be brewing live. I'm not going to do a YouTube live stream, but I'll be on the Zoom, I think. That's easy enough for me to do. I'll have my tablet out like I did with the collaboration with Gary, and I'll record with that on Zoom. And then I'll probably do some close-up shots with my phone and then actually do a proper Brew Day post on YouTube video probably sometime next week. So really looking forward to that. I was actually talking to Gary the other day because we've been working on this New Zealand Pilsner for a little while now, collaborating on this. And we're trying to make sure that our steps are very similar. We're at the point now where we're cold crashing. So I've been cold crashing now actually a little longer than he has. And normally by now I would have already transferred it off and go into a keg and started to lager it. However, I actually want to use this yeast for the beer I'm going to brew on Saturday. So what I thought I would do, which I think will work out okay, I'm going to go ahead and rack this beer off of the brew bucket. And out of its cold crashing, it's at 38 degrees right now over there. And I'm going to get it to go into a keg and start, getting ready to lager it. And then what I'm going to do is with the beer I brew, I'm planning on brewing that Munich Helles finally. I know you guys have heard me talk enough about it. I'm finally going to brew that one. And I'm going to I'm actually going to rack that onto the yeast cake of that beer. So it's going to use the New Zealand Pilsner yeast cake because it's the same yeast I was planning on using anyway. It's the WLP838. It's a White Labs Southern German lager yeast. I really like that yeast. It works really well for other lagers that I've made, and I've just kind of stuck with it. I haven't ventured out much beyond that yeast since I've started using it for lagers. I've tried other lager yeasts before it and didn't care for them. Once I came to this one, I pretty much got sold. But I'm of course open to other ideas. I just haven't ventured out yet. So let's go ahead and show you guys what's going on here with this beer. Go ahead and move you off of here. Just swing you around, and there she is. So this is the South by Southeast New Zealand Pilsner. It's running at 38 degrees, sitting in cold crash. And I don't remember if I showed you guys this on a previous video or not, so I'll show you now. What I've done is, because I'm afraid of suckback, what I've done here is I've actually used the 90 for the blow-off, where the blow-off would have been for the beer. And right before I went to cold crash, I put this attachment on there So this is where I can do the quick disconnect for the gas. Okay, and this is how I do my closed transfer. So I'm going to hook up the gas to this and transfer out of the bottom and into the keg. So this, what I did was I pressurized this with about 5 psi of CO2 right before I cold crashed. So it was a closed vessel at that point. And then, yeah, we shouldn't have any issues with suck back because there was nothing to suck back. So let's see if I get this right. There we go. I think that's right. So yeah, I'm planning on using that as is, and I'll probably harvest the yeast after it's done because I really like this yeast, so I'll hang on to it for a future lager or a beer or something. Other than that, so and I did make a minor change to that recipe. So I brewed that Municalis a year and a half ago, I think now. And when I brewed it last, I really liked that beer the way it was. But I just, as we all are with homebrewing, we love to tweak and fine-tune things. So I wanted it to have a little bit more of like a biscuity taste to it. So I'm adding a few ounces of Victory to it to kind of bring some of that bready and biscuity kind of quality to the beer. And I've lowered the melanoidin slightly just to kind of balance that out. And also, on top of that, I'm changing the water profile slightly. So I'm decreasing the amount of sulfate that I'm going to put into this beer and increasing the chloride a little bit, just to, again, really play into it being malt forward, which is what a Municalis is supposed to be. It's supposed to be more like a sweet lager, more malty lager, and you're supposed to be able to get that. Hops are not a part of that show, so I wanted to try to adjust the water accordingly and just see if it comes out even better. So that's what we do, right? We like to fine tune things and just toy around with it and hope that we make a better version the next time we go for it. I went to the homebrew shop this week. It was actually an interesting experience. They weren't letting anybody into the store unless you had a mask on or unless there was nobody else in the store. So it was actually a pretty big store. It's a warehouse. So fortunately, there was nobody there. I actually ordered all the stuff that I know I needed online, and they put it aside for me. But since there was nobody there, I went ahead and took advantage of walking around and looking at other stuff. So I picked up some things that I needed. One of the things that happened this past week, it's probably 3 or 4 days ago, my keg, I actually kegged a soda for the kids on one of the taps, and a day later my tank was empty. Now I know I don't go through that much CO2. It usually takes me a good 6 months to a year to go out of a tank to have to refill it again. It takes a while. It takes nearly almost a year before I have to replace it, and it was already out, and I'd probably recharged that thing a good couple of months ago, maybe 3 months ago. So there's no way I use that much CO2, especially since now I bought that 2-pound tank to do bottling and transfers and things. So I'm really only using the CO2 tank in the kegerator now just for serving. So I found a leak. One of my kegs, the post was not all the way down on it, and I think the lid wasn't sealed as well as I thought it was. I usually don't check those things anymore. When I first put everything together and when I clean out a keg, like take it apart and put it all back together, sure, I'll spray it down with Star Sand, look for bubbles. So I haven't done that because I haven't done that recently, and I wasn't expecting any problems. But sure enough, I think that's where my issue was. As a matter of fact, it was also between that and I did find that one of my gas quick disconnects, which was the third one in the line of my splitter, was also a bit loose. And that's the one I was unscrewing and rescrewing for bottling, so with the beer gun. So that's the other reason why I bought this separate tank, because I didn't want to have to keep flopping those fittings. I was afraid of an issue coming at some point, and sure enough, that was probably the culprit. That or the keg or both. So yeah, so that got squared away. The cat's over there messing with the tripod. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for you guys this week. I hope to see everybody out on the Big Brew Day on May 2nd. Hope to see you guys, pop in and out of the Zoom. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one. So happy Homebrew Wednesday, everybody. Cheers.